Hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. Continuing to explore the Mojave Desert for caves, I use Google Earth to look at terrain, looking for anything that would possibly hold caves such as rock shelves and isolated formations, deep drainages or washes, the locations and surrounding areas of springs, canyons facing certain directions, as well as cliff faces, anything that would have been utilized to aid in shelter from the elements. There's a lot of desert out there, and in prehistoric times, and current times I might add, people would have used everything from a shallow rock overhang to an alcove to get reprieve. And if people would have spent significant time loitering in these shelters, they would have left behind artifacts, signs of their presence. Most of the time, signs of their presence are simply lithic debris, indicating tool processing or blackened cave ceilings from fires. Sometimes I discover new rock art in these spots as well. Sometimes I find nothing at all. So please join me as I head out into the desert to discover what once was. That's a cave up there. Yeah, well, got some storms moving in right now out here in the desert, but still a good time to be out, stretching the legs anyway. And I found a drainage that has some rocky, kind of craggy outcroppings along it. And sometimes these are good spots for caves. Now there's a spring over the rise here, not too far, maybe a couple miles, maybe not even that far. So I'm wondering if there's any type of, well, there's a cave right there. So there could be one farther down. It looks like it's a bigger overhang. Maybe not, but these have been good shelter spots. So whenever you find caves out here, it's generally it's been inhabited, not just by animals, but by people, and may all the way back to prehistoric times. So I always like searching for these, and there's quite a few of them. And you know, if I get up there and the ceiling's black and stuff like that, then it's an obvious indication people were hanging out in there having fires. So that being said, let's have a walk up there and see if there's anything happening. Man, if that rain really starts coming down, I might have to get out of here. That's the one thing about desert here. When it gets saturated, the dirt roads, they literally become impassable. They turn to quicksand. It is no bueno. So keep an eye on that. But it doesn't look like any heavy squalls are going to move in. Just some misting. That's perfectly fine. It's pretty shallow. Yeah, I thought it was going to be deeper than that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a roof over your head if you need it to be, but it's pretty shallow. So nothing in that one. We'll keep moving down. Nothing a little higher up. Doesn't look so bad out there. I think we're okay on the rain aspect. Hey, you never really know what you're going to come across out here, so it's always good to, you know, kind of check out everything. Man, I was driving and I saw that right up in there. My finger pointed that right? Right up in there. That looks like a deep cave. That's got to have some fire residue in it. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. It's looking pretty good. So just want to have a look around the ground in front of it. There might be some lithic material or an artifact. Oh, come on, I feel really good about this cave. Well, there does seem to be some black in the ceiling there, but I'm not going to go in. There's a huge midden in there, and I need to think about things like hantavirus and stuff like that, but man,
I thought this looked really good, and it's definitely got evidence of fire in there. Like even at the mouth of it, there's charred rock. Look at this, see? That's charred limestone there. So yeah, there's definitely evidence of fire in there, but I can't poke around. Well, I guess I could poke around there, but I'm not going to, just because of that massive midden there. I don't really want to breathe in, but yeah, that definitely could have been used for shelter. I thought it was going to be, once again, a little bigger from down below, but that's pretty cool regardless. Okay, last stop today. Weather's starting to look a little more inclement. We're gonna wander back here real quick. Some pretty steep limestone cliffs here, so there might be something to have a look at in there. Ooh, right up in here. Not really seeing much as far as the ceiling's not black at all, so maybe it's just nothing. I don't think it's anything. So I'm gonna go around the corner a bit, see if there's anything there, and then if there's not, it's probably gonna be a wrap. All right, well, I passed the night and I've returned back to the desert, and it's kind of in between squalls. It's kind of lightly drizzling right now, but the storm's lasting since yesterday and then all through today. So it's going to get pretty wet. It's actually pretty wet out here now, which is kind of nice because it hasn't rained out here in, I can't remember, months. So most of the times when you're walking up a canyon like this, you're going to be paying attention to what's directly in front of you, because there's a lot going on out here. So you're navigating all this. You're not really stopping and looking up too much. So you can walk right by things and you never know they were there. So looking right up here, you pass right by this and the caves right up here. It's pretty trippy. As a matter of fact, I'm looking right at it. It's right in here. And if I were just to look at this as I'm passing by, I wouldn't notice anything right there. However, it looks very different when you're right in front of it. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Oh man. Yeah, there's even lithic material at the front of this. Without a doubt. Yep. Look at this. So first thing, we're going to go in here and you're going to immediately notice that this ceiling is entirely coated in soot from lots of fires, especially back here. Another thing you're going to notice it's just, I can step back out and show you this. is the floor of this cave is almost perfectly level. So that's just doesn't happen. That was human made. Most of the time the caves, it's just not the way it is ever. So the floor of this cave was worked to become level. And I want to point something else out here at the base. You can see what's left of some type of foundation. So what I'm thinking is if you were to, say, excavate this, there's probably a floor that was made, and then all this sand was brought in and filled, and this thing is completely flattened out here. So I'm sure living in this would be quite comfortable. Now there's a spring back that away, so there would be water accessibility, and there's lots of game in the area, so like mule deer, things like that. So this might have been like, I don't know, it was obviously an important spot because people took the time to create a floor in here. And I can't, of course, go in here and excavate, but it should be noticed that that's what I think happened. So there's a floor was made with these rocks, and then it was filled in with sand. That take more than a minute for certain. Yeah, this is an extremely comfortable cave. Yeah, this would have been a really nice place to chill out in. Nice view, warm and dry. Cool in here when it's hot. Perfect. Beautiful views of the mountains, access to water. Definitely an ideal spot. So I'm sure this was utilized continually over the years. Yeah. What's the best part of this cave, you know, among other things, is that it was obviously constructed to be flat. People made this a comfortable spot, and noticing the base, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just fascinating. So there's some hollow spots in here on the floor. You can see here where sand is sinking down in, so there's obviously spaces in there, and it would be fascinating to excavate this, there's no doubt, because I'm sure there's artifacts in here. Nothing on the surface, so that's as far as I can go, you know, having a look anyway. So this was definitely an awesome spot. Look at these when you come out, the views to the mountains there. Because we're kind of at a midpoint, the mountains here, and then in that direction, low desert. So this is an ideal spot in between environments. I'll come down a little farther here. One more view at this obvious human-made. You can see the whole base of the floor here extending out with the rocks. So my dog is standing in front of. Very nice. Fantastic spot. Maybe I'll come back and spend the night in there just to see how it is. That might be kind of interesting. This is looking back to the west in the lower desert. Fascinating area. All right. That was an interesting cave that we just examined. Beautiful area. Well, continue searching out here, and lots more content on the way. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It is free. It helps the channel tremendously. Folks, we'll see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.